Is Republican Congressman Michael Waltz. He's a member of the House Armed Services Committee and the first retired Green Beret elected to the House of Representatives. Congressman, thank you for being with us. Happy New Year. I'll get to the House vote in just a moment. First, just a short time ago, we heard from a senior leader in Iran's Revolutionary Guard who said that Iran will exact harsher revenge than it did yesterday. What concerns you about the possible harsher revenge from Iran?
Yeah, well, I think the strike that we saw a few nights ago was something the Iranian government felt like it had to do for its own domestic political considerations and to send a message to its proxies around the region that it would respond with force. But frankly, it looks like so far it was a check the block. That said, Iran, I think, will continue through its proxies, although that ability has now been degraded by taking out the mastermind of them all, Soleimani, to continue, as it always has done, to spread its malign influence through terrorism and through its proxies throughout the region. And that is in keeping with what it's done historically, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it continue to try to do that.
Which gets to the issue of what should or can the U.S. do if that does happen, which gets to the congressional briefings yesterday from the administration. Now, after the Senate was briefed, Senator Mike Lee, a Republican from Utah, he wasn't happy at all. Let's listen briefly what Senator Lee said.
Sure.
Probably the worst briefing I've seen, at least on a military issue, in the 9 years I've served in the United States Senate. To come in and tell us that we can't debate and discuss the appropriateness of military intervention against Iran. It's un-American, it's unconstitutional, and it's wrong.
Now, you received the same type of briefing that Senator Lee did. Why do you think he was so upset about it?
Yeah, I obviously wasn't there. On the Senate side, I can surmise or read the tea leaves. I think what may have been said, maybe inartfully, is that the Iranians could, in the intelligence community's assessment, view the highly partisan environment in Washington and view debates to limit the president's ability to respond to increasing Iranian provocations as an opportunity or as something they may take advantage of. But otherwise, I'm speculating. That certainly wasn't conveyed during our briefing.
You don't think the debate itself is any kind of threat to U.S. security?
No, of course not.
And where are you on the overall discussion here? Because one can support the removal, the general idea of the removal of General Soleimani, and still think that Congress should assert its authority more when it comes to military action.
Yeah, that's fine. If we can look past the politics for just a moment, which I know is hard in Washington, but look at what's actually occurred. You had Iran, in keeping with what it's historically done, attack shipping, shoot down a drone, attack a refinery on its neighbor with cruise missiles, attack our embassy, and kill an American. And time after time, the president showed restraint. When he finally did respond, it was killing one known terrorist, actually two, on foreign soil, plotting and planning to kill additional Americans, a known declared terrorist, not in Tehran, but in Baghdad. Iran has responded. At the end of the day, we have one Iranian killed, one American killed. And how did the president respond? With economic sanctions. So I think to say this is disproportionate is just not looking, it's just ignoring the facts. This seems to me to be pretty restrained, and it certainly is not the president warmongering.
Well, one issue that Senator Lee and Senator Paul have, and some Democrats have, is they say they did not see evidence, or they were not presented with evidence of a specific imminent threat. What evidence did you see of a specific imminent threat from General Soleimani?
At least on the House side, I think to expect the intelligence community to pass out 435 reports is probably unrealistic. They have briefed the Gang of Eight specifically. They are making them available. I can tell you from my time on the ground, if you have someone like Soleimani who has a long history of directing attacks, killing Americans, there are many Gold Star families, many wounded warriors as a result of his actions. And we have indication that he is actively plotting and planning to do it again in the wake of our embassy being attacked, in the wake of another American being killed. Frankly, if I found out from an oversight perspective we had that actionable intelligence and didn't take action, I would be screaming from the rooftops for accountability. And action has consequences as well.
Does it
and
matter?
From what we were told, that's what the intelligence.
Does it matter to you, though, whether there was a specific threat? Because the general threat from Soleimani, I don't think people are quibbling with.
No, he was specifically, we were briefed, he was specifically planning for specific operations. That's why he was in Baghdad, and they were to be conducted within days and weeks, not months. In my mind, that's imminent. In my mind, the president had a responsibility as commander-in-chief to stop that threat, not wait until there are even more body bags to then respond.
I have to let you go, Congressman, but will you vote yes or no on this war powers resolution?
I haven't seen the language. My understanding is just a sense of the Congress. It isn't binding. So, John, I'll look at it today.
Congressman Waltz, always a pleasure to have you on New Day.
Right.
Happy New Year again.
Thanks a lot. Happy New Year.